Alright, so as you guys can see, the E36 is up on the lift. I've just been doing a general bolt check because I have not done that since the drift event. So now that that's all done, I can go ahead and give you guys a quick little walk around of the underside of this car, and we're going to talk about the coilovers in particular, and just kind of like a general update on how I feel about them and how they've held up over the 10,000 miles that I have put on this car with this setup. Alright, so you just bought an E36, you're thinking about coilovers. What should you buy? I'm not here to answer that question, but I am here to give you my 10,000 mile review on the Coilovers NeoMax Extreme Lows. So I've had a few of these cars, and by few I mean more than I can count on my hands, and not all of them have had coilovers, but whether it's been a parts car or a car that I've done myself, it has had coilovers, right? And I've had from the bottom of the barrel, I guess, quality wise, to, you know, some nicer ones. But I do genuinely believe if you are just kind of day-to-day street driving a car, there's zero necessity to go and spend an enormous amount of money on coilovers. I honestly think that there is a sweet spot, and there are a few companies that fall under that, and I think I've tried quite a few of them at this point. So if you're unfamiliar, I have been building a 325IS drift car essentially, and over the last year and a half, almost two, I have completely transformed the car. I mean, it's entirely different. Different engine, different transmission, coilovers, different interior, I mean, you name it. But again, one of the most crucial points in any build is coilovers. So I went ahead and reached out to Coilovers, and to my surprise, they actually were super down to work with me on the build here. And by build, just so you know, I'm sitting under the car. It's probably not a great idea. So by no means did I get these handed to me. They were not free. I did get them at a slight discount, but as I'm sure everyone knows, when you're putting a car together, that goes a long way. And what I told them I would give them in return would just be this video. These are my honest thoughts on the coilovers, and it's nothing else than that. I told them that I would make this video, so anyone from Coilovers, if you are watching, told you guys I would do it. It's been a while. But I mainly did that because I wanted the most legit review that I could give you. Most coilovers will do fine in the first 1,000 miles, but how well do they do after 10,000 miles of really hard driving? If you see me drive this car in person, or if you're one of my friends watching this, you can attest to this. I am not nice to this car. And so I'm just gonna talk about how they did, the overall experience, and what I think about these coilovers 10,000 miles later. Cut to the B-roll of me installing said coilovers. this thing's gonna look great broken down on the side of the road. All right, not the lightest package. We got some spanner wrenches, comes with some Allen wrenches as well. And then here are the coilovers. They're packed really well. I'm actually super appreciative that these are not like a crazy anodized color. Sometimes that'll interfere with the color of the car or the interior. For me, I like gray, black, silver, you know, just very basic colors. So I like that the silvers are silver. So their customer service was super helpful. They actually helped me pick a swing rate that would be best suited for my application here. I wanted to go low, so this is the extreme low kit. So I did opt for a higher spring rate. We will be doing 16K front, 12K rear. Okay, so this is everything that you receive in the box. And something to note is Silvers actually does sell true rear coilovers. So if you're into that and that's your goal with your car, they do sell true rears. You have your adjustment here up top, and then you also have the camber adjustment. You know, we'll be maxing that out. These are they're finished in like this really clean anodized gray color, which I really like. So yeah, here are the rears. So if you intend on going low with your car at all, or if you're trying to run pretty much anything wider than an 8, I would suggest rolling your quarter panels. If you're comfortable doing it, you can buy or rent or borrow a fender roller. In my case, I purchased one and just wanted to learn how to do it. But on my M3, I had a friend at a shop take care of it for me, and he rolled them perfectly. If you're intimidated, don't be, but also keep in mind that it's very easy to crack the paint. As seen here, I did crack the paint on this quarter panel. I was going super slow using a heat gun and everything, and still managed to crack it. So just be mindful of that. But when you roll these lips in, if you feel your quarter panel, if you haven't rolled them, the lip will kind of protrude out. So your tire will rub it, and you'll have less clearance, but you can get a little bit more clearance if you go ahead and roll your quarter panels. So yeah, there you have it. Currently the car is sitting at the ride height that I really like. That is my preferred ride height for this car and its form and function. Like it serves its purpose well at this ride height. With that said, I'm holding this mount. This is the standard mount that comes with the Silver's Extreme Lows. My only gripe and complaint with this whole experience was that these just didn't meet my expectation as far as my desired ride height. These would not allow me to go as low as I wanted. I reached out to Silvers, and without any questions, I mean, Anthony was super cool. He sent me out a second set of lower front mounts. So they are about half the size of this, and they are currently installed in the car now. And so with those shorter mounts is how I achieved my ride height. Also, something to note about my car in particular, I mean, I know a lot of people, and E36s by now have either, you know, M3 kits on them, like non-Ms have M3 kits, or if you do have an M3, it has a kit. So this car has really no aero or ground effects that makes it appear lower. This is like actually chassis low, I guess you could say. Like honestly, if this car had a kit on it, it would look much lower. And you know, eventually I may do something like that. So my biggest thing is, you know, 10,000 miles, how does it perform? I have put 10,000 hard miles on this car, but I've also done a lot of different driving, I guess you could say. I drove this thing to school, and I still drive it to school when I have it at my house. With a properly set preload and you actually have your coilover set up correctly, these things ride great. Now you can opt for the Swift spring upgrade. I have yet to do that. I think in the future, if I want to go any lower in the rear, I will just go to a stiffer and shorter spring. So after 10,000 miles, I am genuinely impressed with these coilovers. They feel just as good after like the first week that I had them, right? The preload is perfect, at least for me, and I feel like the car, suspension-wise and how it feels, is set up perfect. It rides better than my M3, no bullshit. I just think that this car is actually set up really well at this point from a ride quality standpoint, and the Silvers certainly helped me get there, because the other thing to note about this build is at this point, really the only suspension is coilovers. That's the only modification or refresh that I did do in suspension. My money for the rest of the car was spent elsewhere. And this is one thing I always suggest. Coilovers, and you hear plenty of people talk about it, are just game changers. Get rid of the body roll, and just having the car lower will completely transform it. It looks better, it rides better. The whole car personality totally shifts. My biggest thing with these coilovers is they are affordable, they show up to your door on time, the customer service and communication is there, and they've clearly held up and done very well for me. And just like with those key points, I can recommend these coilovers to you. Customer service is absolutely everything, and you know, to me that's really important. And it's a huge factor when I go ahead and purchase something. It's not cheap. None of this stuff is cheap, right? So if you spend your money, you want to feel like you are a valued customer. And I certainly felt that with the, you know, whole interaction with Silvers. The car rides great and it speaks for itself. The front coilovers have pretty much everything you'd want or ask for from a coilover in this price range. The adjustable camber top hats are included, which, you know, I've bought plenty of coilovers at this price point where they were not included, so that's a plus too. You don't really have to take apart anything from your old suspension. I have adjusted these a few times for fine tuning, and after all the weather exposure and just, you know, the mileage so far on this car, I have not run into a seized coilover, which is awesome because it happens on my M3 all the time. The one thing I can suggest though is if you are installing coilovers, whether it's Silvers or anything else, please, for the love and whatever you believe in, just do the shock tower reinforcements. People will say that you absolutely have to weld them in, and I am here to disagree with that. Anything is better than nothing. You can buy original BMW shock tower reinforcements for the front, and there's numerous companies that make shock tower reinforcements for the rears. Please do them. These cars are all like 25 years old or more at this point, so you know, it's just kind of a good idea. If you're gonna stiffen up your car, you might as well add a little layer of structural integrity to the car. I just hope that it kind of translates that these are good coilovers, and I genuinely think that, and I wouldn't make this video if they weren't. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one. I don't really know what the future holds for my 325 IS, but I did want to get this video out in case, you know, I sell it soon. Could happen, I don't know. Anyone from Silvers, if you're watching this, I really appreciate you guys for, you know, taking a chance on smaller creators. That shit goes a long way for anyone, but especially when you're trying to make YouTube videos. It's time consuming and it's expensive, so that kind of thing helps a lot. If you guys have any suggestions for content or any questions, please drop them down below. Check out the parts page, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.